is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a Hallmark hater. No, oh my God.
Did you intentionally drop the former?
Oh my gosh. We just recorded a headlines episode, and I was in my brain thinking like, wow, I've really drank the Hallmark haterade lately.
Oh.
And now we have this, and then that slips out. So I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater who hated this show. So let's talk about it.
We're back with another episode in our First Impression series where we review the pilot episodes of the series streaming on Hallmark Plus. We're watching it, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. Let's find out. Today we are diving into Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye.
EYE, guys.
I tried to emphasize that, even though it sounds more piratey than... Hey, follow us on Instagram right this minute. We are Girls Gone Hallmark. Go and do it.
Hey, we have a Facebook group that's really fun and with a lot of cool people. So come give us a join. Girls Gone Hallmark in Facebook groups. Also, before Megan goes on, can I just say last week we announced what we're doing for summer.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it.
Uh-huh.
It is called Girls Gone Hallmark Summer School. Do you see the play there that I did? Like, because it's summer, but also because we are going to be watching and reviewing for the very first time the Mystery 101 canon, and she was a professor.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Did you get it? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we will be doing all 7 of the Mystery 101 movies throughout the summer, as well as the hit first season of Mistletoe Murders, which we haven't seen either.
Correct.
And I got to tell you, ChatGPT came up with this next line, and I love it. It's going to be a killer summer.
Nice.
Megan's like, no, I hate everything about it.
I don't. I like it.
You hate mysteries.
I don't love mysteries. I'm looking forward to the Mistletoe Murders series, and I like Chris Palaha.
Okay.
I don't think Mystery 101 is going to be bad. It has a good following. And I have liked a number of the mysteries that Hallmark has done, like Dial 1 for Murder. Loved it. Cases of Mystery Lane. Love it. You know, I don't love a mystery for the sake of a mystery. Let's say that.
This is what I think is going to happen. Now, it wasn't many years ago. It was a few years ago. We did do the first episode of Mystery 101 as like a summer thing. It's almost similar to what we did here, a first impression, right? I rewatched it last night. I think you're really going to like it.
I think I liked it the first time.
I liked it the first time too, but now that we have a relationship with one Christopher Palaha.
Sure, yeah, I totally agree. That's definitely going to change the viewing experience.
It totally changes the experience, yes. And I think in addition, the mystery storytelling is truly like the subplot of the show.
We also know the chemistry that Palaha and Wagner have after reviewing Pearl in Paradise.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a fun summer. Okay, now go ahead with the regular housekeeping stuff.
That's it. Let's talk Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye.
Okay. Do you want a synopsis? Is that where I'm going first?
Let me just tell you, this pilot episode premiered on October 13th, 2002, and the series ran for 3 seasons from 2002 to 2005. Now let's hear a synopsis.
Sue Thomas is a deaf woman who works for the FBI in Washington, D.C. Using her ability to read lips and assisted by her dog Levi, she solves tough crimes that her hearing colleagues and listening devices can't crack.
Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye was created by Dave Allen Johnson and Gary R. Johnson. Yes, they are brothers. Dave Johnson has written and produced a number of television shows and is credited as the creator of the series High Incident, as well as Doc, which stars one Billy Ray Cyrus. Gary Johnson, his brother, co-created both Doc and Sue Thomas and wrote on a handful of other television shows.
Deanne Bray plays Sue Thomas. Deanne has 27 acting credits and has appeared on shows like Veep, Grey's Anatomy, and Heroes.
Inuka Okuma plays Lucy. Inuka has 94 acting credits and has appeared in some of our favorite shows like The Pit, Paradise, and Workin' Moms.
Yannick Bisson plays Jack Hudson. Yannick has 90 acting credits and has appeared in 312 episodes of Murdoch Murders, as well as several of the Aurora Tea Garden mysteries.
I think it's Murdoch Mysteries, but
What did I say?
murders.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Jessup plays mechanic Charlie Adams. Jack's career spans 76 projects, including the Adam Sandler film Tommy Boy. And we're going to take a quick break before we come right back with some hot takes on Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye. Well, Wendy, the time has come. We've talked about it. We've worried about it. I turned on Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye yesterday. It is an hour and 29 minutes of a pilot episode. And I immediately texted you.
It's an
Some bad
hour and
words.
29 minutes. And I was like, no. I watched it on Peacock. It's available on Peacock as well as Hallmark Plus.
Wow.
And on Peacock, it's split up into 2 episodes. So when the first one ended, I was like, is that it? Is it over? Like, that was really fast. And then I realized there was a second part. So, yeah, this was not a great show, like at all. For me. There's a lot of things that are weird about it. Here's truly my first impression. We have a lead actor who has a disability. She is hard of hearing. Fine. Like, that's totally cool. I'm like totally fine with that. But the show is called Sue Carter F.B.Eye.
It's called Sue Thomas.
It says Sue Carter. I wrote Sue Carter.
Well, Carter was last week's show.
Oh my God. Anyway, this show is called Sue Thomas F.B.Eye. I-E-Y-E. I'm under the impression that our lead cannot see.
Yeah.
And then therefore would need a seeing eye dog because she has a companion dog that helps her.
He's her ears.
Which is fine.
I
but
know the title doesn't make sense.
Makes
As
zero
I
sense.
texted you, Sue Thomas F.B. Ear is less compelling.
It is less compelling. So
They were like, man, this would be great if we could have a show about a blind FBI agent. We'll call it Sue Thomas F.B.Eye. And they're like, can't make it work blind. Can you do deaf?
change the freaking title.
And they did not change the title.
Like I'm all for a lead that has a companion dog that's going to help her do her job. Like that's really cool to me.
I actually think
concept.
the disability piece is the most interesting thing here. Like I loved the visual representation of the challenges she faced being hard of hearing. Like
agreed.
When they show her as a child in the classroom and it goes silent every time the teacher turns around, I'm like, damn, tells such a story right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they show, her mom fighting for her, when they show these moments where all the different ways, she gets arrested by this police officer and he's yelling at her. I have issues with it, but like she can't hear him. And when the mechanic's trying to speak to her, I thought it was actually important that they continued to remind you that these are all the ways that her not being able to hear manifest in her life.
Sure.
And then her dog, I actually thought that was really interesting when she was like, oh, he's my ears. Like he lets me know when someone's trying to get my attention or the doorbell's ringing or the phone. Great. I thought all of that was really cool.
Same.
However, this show was so slow.
So slow. Clunky.
And I feel like it just screams like, we didn't have much of a budget here.
Mm-hmm.
I have some other issues with the show.
Go ahead.
This girl has so much trauma in her life. She loses her hearing spontaneously as a young child.
Mm-hmm.
Her childhood best friend dies in a bus accident, and she blames herself her entire life for that accident. Then her dog gets shot. You're gonna shoot the dog? Excuse me?
I know.
I was like, what?
Uh-huh.
And then they take it to a human hospital. It's like laying in the bed with the sheet over him. I was like, come on.
Yes.
Even the nicest vet, they're in a wire cage in the back. It just was like, it's enough that she has challenges in her life because she's hard of hearing. That is enough. She didn't need trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma.
Totally. I agree. One of my biggest problems was how they portrayed Sue's character. To me, she comes off as overly naive. For example, there is a scene where she is giving testimony and she can read lips. So she's giving this testimony of what she read. It's basically like a conversation she heard or what she read. Anyway, then she turns while on the stand to the judge and goes something about like, I hope your stomach feels better. I read your lips earlier that you needed an antacid because you have an upset stomach from lunch. And I was like, no person would ever say something like that.
Yeah, that was weird. She was trying to prove her point, right? That she was reading lips, but like she would know that that's a private conversation that you're not supposed to be reading lips during. Like,
Yes.
come on. You don't, if you have the ability to read lips and the judge is sidebarring with the attorneys, that's a not for your eyes situation.
Right. But it just was like the way she like, I was like, she's not dumb. She's like a capable professional that clearly has this unique skill, which is very cool to use in the federal agency to use. I just want to, just maybe.
Okay, but also she's like driving. She's like, I'm joining the FBI. She moves to Washington, D.C. and they get there and they're like, you're in special departments. Did she not know what job she had been hired for?
I guess not.
She drove all the way across the country and she's like, well, this isn't the job I wanted. Come on. They're like, you're in the FBI. Come on out. What?
I don't know. Also, this show very much showed its age. 2002. There were a lot of commonly accepted.
But isn't it wild when you read that it's in 2002? Wouldn't you have been like, this is like 1985 with the words that we use? Were we still using these words 20 years ago?
Apparently so. And on network TV. Yeah, you know what? The word I'm referring to is the R word. And I personally find it offensive. I don't use it personally. I
agree.
But we were using that word in 2002 because it is used often in Gilmore Girls.
Really? I'm in a Gilmore Girls rewatch, but we're only in season 1. I have not come across it or clocked it yet. You know, it used to be a socially acceptable way. It obviously became like a slur.
Right.
But it became a socially acceptable way it was to describe people. It is no longer accepted, and it's jarring when I hear someone use it in my life. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That is not cool. Can I talk about some other words that I bumped on?
Yes, please.
The dog trainer calls Levi schizophrenic.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, he's obviously not. So is that a word that we were using to describe like just a little bit off? That's not cool. That's like when someone like would jokingly use the word like bipolar for someone who's emotional. Not cool, people.
Yeah.
Also, a line that I did not really understand. It's toward the end of a movie, but it's a flashback to when Sue was meeting Levi and he was in his outdoor cage. The trainer is describing like these rescue dogs being rehabilitated into service animals as a sort of welfare reform. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I don't think I like it.
Explain to me what you think it means.
Welfare reform? Why can't we just say we're rehabilitating rescue animals?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
It just felt, I don't know. I can't make it make sense, but it didn't feel kind.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
There was something I really liked.
Tell me. I think I know what it is.
90s throwback country.
Yes. So the show opens with the song "Who I Am" by Jessica Andrews. Look, I could if somebody said to me, "Wendy, do you know that song "Who I Am" by Jessica Andrews?" I'd be like, "Nope." But when it played in that show, I sang every word along with it. I knew exactly what it was.
Do you recall in the era of our weddings, it was common to do slideshows, and it would be like a slideshow of like one spouse through their childhood and the others, and then you'd have a slideshow of their like relationship. So for the section of our wedding slideshow that was me, it is the Jessica Andrews song.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Slideshows. Is anybody doing those anymore?
I thought they were very fun. I still watch ours every once in a while.
Oh, that's cute. We didn't do one. I might could just be blanking out totally, but no, I don't think we did one. Yeah. The second song that was used was called "Someone Else's Star" by the artist Brian White. Another Hot Jam.
I
It's
love
actually
that
not a
song.
hot jam. It's like a very sweet song.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I texted Megan. I was like, oh, my husband loves this song.
So funny. When they started playing it, I was like, oh my gosh, give me more.
I was waiting for him to, because I was playing it upstairs. I was waiting for him to be like, what are you watching? You know?
I just thought it was such a funny choice from whoever did the music on this show to pick these two like 90s country songs. And the opening intro was so long.
It was really long.
It was of the time though.
Really, really long.
Maybe it gets shortened in future episodes.
I don't know. I'm not going to watch.
I have kind of a did you see that?
Oh, tell me.
When she walks in on the floor of the FBI, there's the motto and it says fidelity, bravery, justice, which is not the motto of the FBI. The FBI motto in the seal is fidelity, bravery, integrity.
They couldn't use it. They didn't get the rights to use
Perhaps not.
the FBI.
Anything else before we talk the Hallmark test?
Nope.
All right. Is it giving Hallmark to you?
Absolutely passes the Hallmark test. and here's why, because it leans real hard into Christian values.
Yeah.
Like more than once. It's
They're
talked
trying
about
to be heartwarming.
wholesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's a real distinction between good and evil. And I can see, like, for audiences who are into that,
Yes.
this is right in their wheelhouse.
I mean, look, it's about the Russian mafia, and at no point am I a person who is easily stressed out by television worried at all. Like, there's no point I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So it's very lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
How about the cast?
Well, okay. I did enjoy the character of Lucy, the friend. I thought she was a solid friend.
She's my absolute favorite in the whole show.
I agree. I don't know, like her, she was operating at a higher vibe than everybody else around her.
Billion% agree with you.
I felt like they could have just picked her up and put her in a 2025 show and she would work.
And when I looked at her resume and, you know, she's in Paradise and she's in The Pit, only an episode, but like she's in all of these hit shows. She was in Working Moms. I was like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't, I was like, could she be the lead? And then I'm like, okay, Megan, don't be a jerk. This show is about a deaf person and a deaf person should be the lead. And I liked Deanne Bray. I thought she was sweet and fine as the lead, but
sure.
Inuka Okuma is the damn star.
I agree. I also enjoyed Charlie the Mechanic.
Me too. Oh, sweet little Charlie.
I thought there was this nice kind of symbiotic relationship where like they were both gonna like kind of take care of each other. Now I'm curious, like, does he continue into the series?
He's in like 8 episodes.
Oh, sad.
I liked at the end when Lucy and Charlie show up in the dog's hospital room. Like I was like, oh, this is her little team here, her little team of buddies.
Yeah, I mean,
She gotta have her sidekicks.
there was. I liked Lucy the best, but I don't know if like this whole like cast, like it didn't excite me like as the ensemble.
Band of FBI characters for me feels very stereotypical. And I thought it was so funny. They have that like one Australian dude who happens to use the Australian slang Sheila right off the bat. They're like establishing him. And it made me laugh out loud because she was like, oh, he said Sheila. And that identified him as Australian because obviously she can't hear his accent. And you know, you kind of have like he's not the chief, but like the head guy of their agents who's like this gruff, doesn't say a lot kind. And, you know, good guy Jack, and you got kind of the mildly corrupt jerks. It just felt very like these are the characters that we need. Like we need to drop people into each. It just felt predictable.
Sure.
To the point that not only did the cast feel predictable, but so much of the story felt predictable because when Lucy is about to introduce Sue, she's like, let me meet my boyfriend. I'm like, it's gonna be Miles.
Totally.
And then he walks. My husband's like, who are you talking to? And I was like, I'm just calling it like I see it.
Talking to my Hallmark shows, my stories.
I think I know the answer to this next question, but keep it or skip it.
Skip it. It's 56 episodes. I would hope that there's some improvement.
It has some like nice reviews on IMDb.
Does it?
Yeah.
I look at if anybody has watched it, because there, like Megan said, there are 3 seasons of it. If anybody has watched it and was like, it gets a lot better, let me know. I'm curious. I'm not curious enough to watch it myself, but I'm curious what happens.
Yeah. I wrote, sorry, skip it.
Skip it. This is a first, right? Our
First solid skip it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. That's it for our first impression of Sue Thomas, F.B.Eye. Now go form your own. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. You can leave them in the Apple Podcast app, and we'll be back next time with more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.